right, let's dive into it. We're going head first into this. These are the people that made the very, very final. Okay, this is the very final selection. None of these are bad at all. Every one of these are just ridiculously amazing. So I want you to take a look. Um, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory what has been done here if you're a camp builder. But some of the merges that these people have done are extremely unique and they do stand out from the crowd. So one of the things that I do want to talk about while we're just kind of perusing through here. Now at the end I am going to, let you guys know what all your votes came out to be versus what all mine were. And that way we can compare and contrast. But I want to talk about something really important because it was pretty easy to walk into a camp and then judge it. I could see floating items, I could see items clipping into things that shouldn't have been. There's a few things in here because of the trees and stuff that you're going to end up seeing, but for the most part, as far as the merging techniques, the trickery that's been done, it's all really top tier. So I did make complaints to people that, man, every time I go into these camps, I'm seeing floating items, clipping issues, and you guys definitely, you took note of that because we're not having a bunch of that in these. It's crazy. It's crazy. We've come to a point where when you look at all these camps, you look at all the techniques, and you're like, okay, how advanced is this? It's like, well, they're all extremely advanced. And then when you look at, well, how's the merging? Do they have floating objects? Do you have clipping issues? And they're all extremely well done. I mean, these are extremely tight when it comes to finding floating objects or clipping issues. There's not a lot of blatant stupidity. So it's made it extremely difficult to actually pick a winner. How do you say who did it better when all the techniques are basically the same? You guys had all the same limitations. It's in the same location. What it did was make the competition even more fierce in that aspect. And look at that. I wouldn't have expected somebody would have popped out a clean style build, not from this challenge, That's not what I was expecting. Is it doable? Yeah, obviously. Clearly it's doable. And, she's not the only one. This Bigfoot was not the only one who did that. Check out Trav. And I think that he entered this into another contest, and I think that it got overlooked because of that outside scene. Everything seems very clean, compact, and it is. Even though it's a scrappy build, it was clean. There's not a bunch of clutter and stuff, but everything's on the inside. And look, I mean, his flooring, everything that he did here, it's ridiculous. And for whatever reason, I love the letters on that vending machine right there. That came out really, really good. That's one of them that sticks in my head for some reason. I love the way it looks. So yeah, we've crossed like this weird threshold where the quality's there in all of the builds, and it's extremely difficult to say, oh, well, they did it better than the other person. No, at this high of a level, it's more or less what camp do you actually prefer? That's the real kicker. Because I am nitpicky as shit when I'm sitting here watching this right now as I'm talking to you guys. And I get very intimate when you're editing these videos and stuff. And what I mean by that is that you're spending a heck of a lot of time staring at the same clips. For most people who just film and then put it out there, I'm going to be looking at your stuff way more than you are because I'm actually having to edit it, which means rewatching the same scenes over and over and over. And you end up getting extremely intimate in that aspect where you're like, oh, well, that's floating over there, or oh, that's got a clipping issue. And it's very rare that I have seen anything like that in any of these camps. You guys have really, really set the bar so damn high. Check this one out. Alistair. Unbelievable. Come out of nowhere. Join the group, and then immediately entered this. This one baffles me. I would love to see this one in person if they're on PC, because I still have questions. But I went through this with a fine-tooth comb, and a lot of it, I'm doing that because I want to keep people honest and stuff like that. You know, we don't want cheating. It's no point in doing that. This is not a contest where you're gonna make 20 grand for the winner. You know, no, it's more of a fun thing, and the thing of the challenge is to push ourselves in creative ways, get our minds thinking differently, using things in different ways than we normally would. Look at that damn window. Those are doors. And they used fence posts to border everything in. Now, I do apologize that this is sped up, and it's for the sake of time. Otherwise, we would have been sitting here for a good hour just watching all of these. But Alistair, that's one that came out of nowhere. Phenomenal freaking job. Absolutely love that. I can't believe that they pulled off a clean build that well. V is another one. V is somebody to watch. I'm going to tell you that right now. Her skill set is drastically improving. And we got to get her into an editing class and filming class. So I want to do that. I really do. I want to do a class for you guys where you can jump in the Discord or whatever, and we can go through some tips, tricks, pointers. I'm not the best at videoing. I'm not the best editor. I'm not going to claim I am. But what I can promise you is that the hundreds of hours that I have at fucking things up and making huge mistakes, you guys can learn from. You can learn from my mistakes. And it'll definitely give you a massive head start instead of sitting there learning it on your own. And I've got over 230 videos now. And you can see my progression. If you go back and look at my first videos, they were shit. I mean, they're still shit now, okay? But they're a lot better shit than when I first started. You know, and that's just part of the learning process, because I'm all self-taught. And I would love to sit down with a lot of you. If you guys are interested in doing that, I want you to jump in the Discord and then let me know. If we get enough people interested, I will happily hold a class. Now, this is a Dio. This one's way out of left field. Never expected this. If this was a competition just on creative storytelling, Dio, you would have won. That definitely first place. For the storytelling aspect of it, his entire build is focused around that bubble that you've seen in the swamp. He took the swamp bubbles and then made processing equipment, all that stuff that he's literally processing swamp gas, turning it into Nuka Shine and stuff like that. It's unbelievable. Who the hell would have thought that? Who would have walked into that swamp and then said, oh, look at these bubbles. You know what? I bet somebody's sitting here and they're making Nuka Shine with the swamp farts. Swamp Fart Nuka Shine. That's a hell of a branding name right there. But the creative aspect of the storytelling, it just freaking blows my mind. I can't. I'm sitting here giggling like a little girl while I'm watching it, but it's just so damn creative, you know? Now, Widowbite, this is another one, and I'm proud. I am so proud of the challenge of this, because Widowbite is an amazing builder to begin with, okay? This was her first floating camp. She had never built anything that was floating, and I was shocked. I mean, look at that shit. The quality of her work and everything is just amazing. That is 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. I love it. But you don't see a bunch of floating objects. There's no issues or anything like that. It's a phenomenal job. But I was really, really proud of myself. I sat back and I was like, wow, we forced a really, really good builder to learn a new technique. And I would have assumed that she had done a floating camp before. Uh, just because of, you know, the other builds that I've seen her do and everything. It's fantastic. She's great. But I felt really, really proud. I was like, wow. I backed her into a corner and she literally had to learn a new technique. And we all got to see her lose her virginity on a floating camp. That's awesome. And it's the experiences like that is what makes me want to do this stuff. You know, these challenges and everything, it's like, yeah, there's a contest at the end of it and everything, but the entire purpose of it is to get us thinking outside the box, get the creative juices going, because you come up with new ideas. And like Duckling here, unbelievable. Her walls, I mean, she used the pillars and the jackpot podiums, you know, for like the slot machines. She's using these display cases as dividers for the toilet area. Very, very creative. This was another one that the video doesn't do it justice. I mean, they never do. But when I seen it in person, I was walking around, I was really actually in awe of how it came out, you know. There's a lot of little intricate details. Alright, now let's take some time to check out the results. This is what you guys voted. You picked Cowan Baby 902. AT Duckling was also a first place. So that puts her in second. Mrs. Bigfoot got kicked down to third. Dio, Humble Trav, and Alistair, fifth place. You guys, you're not wrong. I mean, every one of these definitely, they deserve all of the places. I mean, there's not a bad one to begin with, but I think that that was a really good choice. You guys made some solid decisions there, and now let's check out and see where mine line up compared to yours. So in first place, I did pick Cowan. This one was really, really hard for me. He got first place because of the bridges. So the bridges that he had created, they had a sag to them like a natural bridge would because of gravity and things like that. So he followed the physics that we would have out in the real world to create the illusion of that. And that's what got him that first place on that. Second place, Alistair, obviously phenomenal build, gorgeous. If you're on PC, I would love to take a tour of that thing. That thing's really, really cool. Widowbite, obviously, that you made your first floating camp. I mean, come on, how cool is that? Other than that, I mean, it's just a beautiful freaking build. Punky Bluster, coming out of nowhere. Joined up in the group, and poof, there you go. Fourth place, fantastic job. And then fifth place would be AT Duckling. Really great creative use of some of the pillars and the jackpot podiums. So I was really, really happy about that. You got fifth place because I didn't like the shit on your roof. No offense. So, a fantastic job though, everybody. I mean, honestly, you could take these names, throw them in a bag, and then just pick one, and that would have been a good choice for, you know, it being a winner. You guys did phenomenal work. The quality and everything has really excelled in the group, and I can't thank you guys enough for the participation. So, with that being said, I do want to take a second. We've got a little bit of bonus content, and yeah. So, my friends suck sometimes, and they like to troll me. So I'm just going to throw in this little video at the end here and then show you guys that if you're ever going to troll me, you really got to up your game. Don't make a stupid meme or, leave a shitty comment or anything. These people wrote a song, they made video footage. It's pretty good. I mean, it's a very, very high quality troll. So if you're going to troll me, step up your game. Thank you guys. I love you. Awesome job.
If you haven't got flamingos, I feel bad for you, son. I got a 99 budget disqualification. Spent all day on this ground, 24 hours inspiration found. Mole rat named Dirty, his legendary camp, total units of 30, built like a champ. If you haven't got flamingos, I feel bad for you, son. I got a 99 budget disqualification. 80 pounds of junk in a 5-pound bag. Now immediate flunk with raised red flags. A competition Stitch ran, I could've won. Instead it's a ban and a 3-week shun. If you haven't got flamingos, I feel bad for you, son. I got a 99 budget disqualification. We love you, Stitch. It's why we troll, making your eye twitch and making hearts whole. If you haven't got Stitch, I feel bad for you, son. I got a dang good friend. Stitches is the one. If you haven't got Stitch, I feel bad for you, son. I got a dang good friend. If you haven't got Stitch, I feel bad for you, son. I got a dang good friend. Stitches in